It has taken over all of sports conversation. And just wait, it's going to dive into that real world conversation real quick, because the current reigning, defending, undisputed MVP of the NFL, a man who has a segment on this show every single Tuesday that dives deep into the human that is Aaron Rodgers, a little bit more than we had heard in the past, which is absolutely nothing. We knew nothing about Aaron in the past. That's why the first time I actually got a chance to meet him in person, and we were forced to kind of sit in the same area, and there were some cocktails, and we had I'm a genuinely curious person, and I'm not really scared of many people, so I started asking questions like, hey, and then as he's telling me all this shit, I'm like, wow, you're like a pretty fascinating guy. I've only heard terrible things about you. You should let the people know that. And he told us, I kill him with indifference. I don't talk. You never hear him really speak about anything, ever. Pitch the idea of Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. Hey, how'd you feel about this? Come on, chit chat. You know, maybe we answer some stuff and talk about stuff. And I think it would be cool at this stage of your career. Your legacy's already cemented. Maybe people learn about you a little bit. That was the pitch. Like, hey, maybe people learn about you a little bit. He agreed very nicely. And it has become what I think a lot of people would call a smashing success.
Yeah,
that's
you could
right.
say that.
Lucky to have AJ Hawk there. AJ is a close confidant, I believe, to Aaron Rodgers. And we'll talk to AJ in about 52 minutes.
52.
Son of a bitch.
We'll talk to AJ in 52 minutes about it all. But having AJ and having you guys in the atmosphere and the environment and the conversations, just the things that we're able to talk about, because we don't have to abide by a code by the FCC on what you can talk about, how you can talk about, when commercial breaks are. We were able to dive deep into almost everything at this point, and then talk about things in the game that happened, maybe with a little bit higher football IQ questions, because AJ was both a teammate of his, saw him behind the scenes, also knows the game very well and the offense that it's just like maybe we're able to get things out of him that some people aren't able to, and maybe he's more comfortable to chit chat with us than he is anywhere else, and we're very, very lucky for that. And I don't always assume that that's going to be a great conversation on Tuesdays, by the way. I have no idea. I don't go into the game expecting anything. I'm like, I have no idea where this is going to go. I have no idea how it's going to go. I think there's been a couple weeks that people have, thought to be a little bit more entertaining or interesting or insightful than others, and I completely agree with you, because I literally have no expectations when we go in there. But what I didn't ask, in a lot of these Diggs, keep it down, all right? I need you popping in the fucking microphone. What? People are. The reason why Diggs laughed there is because there was quite a conversation about how we will address this entire situation. Because believe it or not, immediately upon the Aaron Rodgers news coming out that he tested positive, and he was immediately ruled out of the Chiefs game, and everybody was like, how is that? Why is he already ruled out? Why is he already ruled out? Well, then Pelissero and others come out and they're like, he's not vaccinated. So then you go back, in time a little bit, and he was asked about this, and he said he was immunized.
Immunized.
He was immunized and then moved on. And I think everybody just, okay, that word's above my head. So I'm going to Google it. And then you Google it. There's actually a CDC entire definition thing in there. In the way the wording is, there is reason, I think, why people potentially didn't ask a follow-up whenever he said immunized, because there was a chance that people that didn't ask the follow-up question thought they were going to get dunked on for being too dumber than Aaron Rodgers is very smart. Yes. I think. So whenever he said he was immunized, which I think by the definition, and I have reached out to him to come on the show. I have reached out. He has an open door policy. I think he knows that. I would assume that he has answers for all the questions that are being, the immunized question that's going on, the non-vaccinated question that's going on, but maybe he's not wearing a mask, right? Whenever other people are wearing masks, if they're not vaccinated, there has to be a reason. There has to be a reason for all of it. You would assume that there has to be something. I have no idea what it is, because if it isn't something, then what the NFL is going to get. Hey, the NFL is going to get attacked, because I see Carson Wentz wearing a terrible mask that isn't even over his nose every single day. And I'm like, okay, I understand that we all got a mask 101 maybe advanced course at this point.
Yeah.
Remember, there's like
Sure.
the M89. We started knowing about the different masks, which ones are good, which ones are not, how you wear them, how you don't wear them. And Carson, I think in the midst of moving around, he has that mask. It's very obvious he has that mask. I mean, it is big. It is huge. Lamar Jackson, I think, has to wear it. He has been up. I think there's other players that have to do it. So if he's immunized, okay, but he's being viewed as non-vaccinated. So these are all questions that I think are very valid questions that a lot of people have. And I would like to, I'm sure there has to be some sort of answer. I don't know if it's going to be one that's going to call him down. It is hot in the kitchen.
Yeah, very hot in the kitchen.
Hot in the kitchen of the Twitter right now. And the only reason why I know that is because I'm getting buried alongside of him like I fucking gave him cover.
Yeah.
Although our production looks amazing, I am in Indianapolis.
Right.
Whenever you see the screen.
Okay.
Aaron's actually, I think he's in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Right.
Wisconsin.
Great to see you, man. What a day for you. You get to break news. You know what I have to do? I have to be a part of it, and people just kill me for what potentially happened in a situation with a guy that comes on the show every single week. And I just assume that there has to be a lot more answers to all the questions because there seems to be a lot of well-written things being said in a negative light about Aaron Rodgers in particular. What have we learned thus far? Because my questions, a lot of them involve the NFL's protocols. If he's immunized, if he's not immunized, what's going on, what's not going on, what are you hearing, what are you learning, and what did LaFleur say?
Okay, let's go through it. Well, first of all, LaFleur did not address whether or not Aaron Rodgers is vaccinated. He said, I'm not going to get into the vaccination status of my players or coaches. He was asked why Rodgers used the word immunized instead of vaccinated in whenever that was, August, and he said that's a question for Aaron. That is what LaFleur said. Here's what I know. The team has known that Rodgers is not vaccinated. According to the letter of the NFL law, they have known this for a very long time. Rodgers has been wearing a mask in the building. He has been following the COVID-19 protocols for those who are unvaccinated. He has been undergoing daily testing. Sometimes at press conferences, he has been seen wearing a mask around his neck, but not on his face. On the sidelines, he has not been wearing a mask, but I don't think you need to, if you're an unvaccinated player, wear one outside. Rodgers did go through a sort of, this is something that our good friend Tom Pelissero reports, Rodgers did go through a homeopathic or holistic immunization treatment, which he thought might be able to get him vaccinated status, but the NFL said that it would not. So he is officially, according to the letter of the law, unvaccinated. And that is why him testing positive for COVID-19 means he is out on Sunday.
So he's been treated as a non-vaccinated player all season long by the NFL, by the Green Bay Packers. It just hasn't been something that has been seen by the media or reported by the media.
Yeah, that's right. And so I will say, like, this is something we found out a little bit ago and kind of had to track this down and figure out what to do with it.
But that's the big story, right? Because the people are saying that he misled, but you're saying, though, he really because in the building he wears it every single day. Yeah. Is that okay? This is fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, everyone with the Packers, including a bunch of players, they've known that he was unvaccinated. And, you know, the media asked him, the local media asked him, and he said immunized, and everyone kind of went along. And, I mean, that's not criticism. If that was me, I wouldn't have drawn a distinction between, well, are you vaccinated or are you merely immunized? I don't think I would have even known what that was. So I don't know that anyone did anything wrong. I just know inside the building, they've known that he was unvaccinated.
So he's out 10 days. That goes to next Friday or next Saturday?
Next Saturday, he's eligible to come off the list, which means he could play. I can't remember who they have. The Raiders, maybe. He could play the next game.
Seattle, right?
I'm sorry, yeah. Seattle. They have right. So he could play the next game against Seattle without practicing, which means we actually could see Russell Wilson come back from the pin thing in his finger and Aaron Rodgers come back from COVID in the same game. That's something.
Well, we hope Aaron survives COVID, obviously. Go ahead, AJ.
Well, is that Seattle game at home or away?
I believe it's at home.
Okay, that helps, right? Because if it was away, wouldn't you have to test negative on Saturday before they left for the trip?
Yes, although he could also fly in separately. You know, I'm sure I don't know this, but I assume he's a guy who's been on a private plane or two. So even if it was on the road, he probably could fly in anyway. But home, at least makes it logistically.
Ian, you do know you've tracked it numerous times for your job.
I'll tell you what's really frustrating.
Yeah, you have.
When people will block the tail numbers on the plane so you can't track it online. I used to cover college football.
That's frustrating.
Covered Alabama. I covered Mississippi State. Plane tracking is all the rage. When they block it, it's really messed up.
Oh, is it? It's really messed up. How about when people just show up at the fucking airport and just wait on you awkwardly in the middle of the night? Isn't that a little fucking creepy too?